physical effects of it finally starting to release everything that was left. Like at work, I was having a horrible stomach ache. It felt like I had horrible cramps because my system was trying to move through and all this kind of stuff. And what's it called? I was at work. I was literally trapped on the toilet. I texted my friend. I texted my manager being like, I'm stuck in the bathroom right now. 21 needs to order. If I got sat, can someone greet them? Like, I'm literally fighting for my life. I have cold sweats. Like, my hair was wet after I got out of the bathroom from the sweat, the cold sweats, because I was in so much pain. But eventually I was okay. I got it all out. Like, I was able to shit, thankfully. And I shit quite a bit. So I was happy because I was like, okay, maybe now the symptoms of constipation are starting to go away. So I just got to give it a couple more days. And then on top of that, I scheduled a Planned Parenthood appointment today because I had an appointment scheduled for the Minute Clinic tomorrow at like 9 a.m. or something. But then my friend told me at Planned Parenthood, it's free. And so I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just go ahead and drive the drive and go to Planned Parenthood instead. And so then I scheduled the appointment. I called them to get an idea of like, hey, like, I'm gonna do self-pay, and like online it said that the Trump administration had defunded them, so to call about payments and all that kind of stuff to get an idea of how much it is. And they said $255 or something. So I said, can you cancel the appointment? So I canceled the appointment, and then I went to the bathroom. So like then I sat with myself for a second. I was like, oh my God. And then I went to the bathroom because I had to pee. And then I started to feel like, it's like, it kind of smells a little bit, and it just feels irritated down there, like where my vulva is, my urethra, sorry. And not my vulva. Anyways, so I was like, damn, I think I'm gonna have to bite the bullet. I'm gonna be pissed. I texted my best friend and I was like, I'm gonna have to spend $250 at $255, whatever, same thing. I'm gonna have to spend $200 something at Planned Parenthood tomorrow, and I'm gonna be pissed at this point if I don't have an STI. Like, I'm going to be pissed if I have nothing and I just spent 2/3 of my bank account. 2/3 of my bank account to get tested. I mean, it'll be good to know, and I am pretty sure I have something going on down there, just because it's a little irritated. Even at work today when I peed, it seemed like there was a little like something that like, I don't know. So yeah, trigger warning, but Charlie Kirk got thoughts. So we were just, but let me read Summer's comment first. No, it was completely fine and we had fun. It was just so awkward because we haven't seen each other in like 5 to 6 years, but I'm happy you guys were able to like have a good time and have fun. We were just talking about the Charlie Kirk thing. I would first and foremost like to say I don't value violence. I definitely think there are more productive ways of going about things. And I do think we should have a general sense of empathy for people and what they go through, because people are typically a product of their environment, and he is just a product of the environment he was raised in, and he probably lived his life trying to be accepted by the people in his environment. With that being said, I think we also should respect people and their belief systems as they pass, and not try to force our own belief systems and our own thoughts and all that kind of stuff. So like, he lived with the ideology. He even said that it's inevitable that people are gonna die because of being shot, but it's worth it for the Second Amendment. So I think that he just fought for his country, and he just wanted to be a part of those statistics that he was talking about, so he could like show you that even with me, we should still let guns run free, you know? Another thing he said is that he once quoted and believed that empathy isn't real, and that like empathy like just shouldn't be used, essentially. Let me actually find the correct exact quote so I'm not paraphrasing, so that way I'm not like looking as if I'm putting words in his mouth. So I do think that we generally should have empathy for people in terms of my values, but going off of his values, empathy isn't real. So therefore, I think it would be morally okay if we decide to restrict how much empathy we put towards the situation. And I do hope his wife and kids are okay. That's the one thing where like my values, there are other people affected by these kind of things. Like if Trump is killed, unfortunately, his kids and maybe his wife, I don't know actually, would be grieving him. So that I can have empathy for. I can have empathy for the backlash and the ripple effects, the domino effects and everything, but Charlie Kirk quote. Quotes on, why is my all caps on? Quotes on guns. So in 2013, so on April 6, 2023, an article was written about how Charlie Kirk says gun deaths unfortunately are worth it to have the Second Amendment. Let's see if I can find the actual quote within this article. So he said, you will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death, Kirk said at Turning Point USA Faith event on Wednesday, as reported by Media Matters for America. That is nonsense. It is drivel, but I think it's worth it. Well, it's worth it. And then the quote. Then, let's say, what? Hold on, now I'm reading a Reddit about the shooting. It's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment. And I don't plan on watching the video. Sad for his family, but relieved for our country. Hi, user. Thank you for liking the live, Christopher. I can't wait till we get the news about someone else being done. No offense. That's what I'm waiting for. You know what I hate? We're going to go on this tangent, and we're going to use code words. So if you guys don't know, in the 1940s in Germany, there was this ruler who spread this really harmful ideology that is typically more on the right wing. It was a very far right extremist right wing party. It was a 4-letter word party. They called themselves the Nazi party. And they had very strong beliefs, and they perpetuated those beliefs in their society, and a lot of it stemmed from their leader, a guy who was also German, and he liked to paint, and he was an artist, and he was also the dictator at one point or another during that time. So we're going to talk about that guy. We're going to talk about German painter. And I hate whenever I talk about the German painter and people are like, I can't believe you're comparing Trump to the Holocaust. Or wait, sorry. The cost. We're going to call it the cost. I can't believe you're going to compare Trump to the cost. I compared Trump to the German painter. The German painter didn't directly do all the killing. He didn't directly, he wasn't the only one. He was just the person who encouraged that ideology and grew a following, and that following as a reflection of their leader, they acted in a specific way. And so when I compare Trump to the German painter, I'm not saying what Trump is doing is becoming the next cost, all in all. No, I think he's just the German painter of our time. He is in a different form, different prejudices, but he's using the same books. And he literally tells people he wants his commanders to be loyal like they were to the German painter. So, hi A. Oh gosh, y'all. I can't believe I'm about to spend $250 tomorrow on STD testing. I don't think I have an STD, but I definitely think I have an STI. But we'll see tomorrow. I'm not in horrible pain or anything, but I slept with a man whore, so that was my fault. What are we renting on, my love? Just a couple different things. The root of the thing, I don't know if you know who Charlie Kirk is, but Charlie Kirk was, oh, does anybody have clips of Dean's stream? Because Dean must have been streaming while he found out. Dean Withers finding out about Charlie Kirk. Wait, Dean Withers, Charlie shot. I'm sorry about your period. I hate periods. I heard of it, but I'm not into
like mass unaliving event, and you know, we just ran. We didn't want to get in the cross. Holy fuck, dude! It's just like the fact that like I know that like I could have been the fucking person.
Gun violence, regardless of who it happened to. Humanity versus inhumanity. Condemn gun violence. We need to end gun violence, regardless of who it happened to. And Parker, like I said, man, if you need some time to decompress, to think,
shit, I'm still in fucking shock. I'm still fucking going crazy in the head right now because of what just happened.
You watching when we found out Kirk passed? Yeah.
People have the fucking audacity to sit there and to fucking be happy that he got shot rather than to like worry about people's safety that were there.
But it's not even about people's safety. This person makes a good point, so I'm not going to just move over what this person is saying at all, because I think they have a valid point, but I also think there is more to it. There is more perspective to where whenever you act a certain way, people are allowed to feel a certain way about you and your actions. Like, it's not like he just said a couple things that were just a little insensitive and then he went about his day. He went on multiple different public platforms spreading very harmful ideologies that are literally poisoning so many people's minds, and they're fundamentally wrong in some ways, factually. In terms of morals and ethics, that's a gray area. You're allowed to have your own moral system because morals are subjective. Some people think doing certain things are okay, some people think it's not, you know? But I definitely think that there gets to a point, whereas I did hear the news, we're talking about it right now. I do think that there is a point where you act a certain way, you harm enough people, you are insensitive to such a mass group of people where people won't necessarily be flooding with excitement to share empathy with you and to consider how you might be feeling about dying. You know, like some people might find joy because you cause so much harm. And so like, I think that empathy is very important for his family, and that's done and done. Like, you really should have empathy for his family, his kids, the people that are going to be affected the most directly from his passing. But I also think that when it comes to the specific person and people being like, you should never be happy about someone dying, I promise you there are certain situations where if you have acted in such a horrific way, you have spread such a specific ideology that is harmful to the culture in general. Like, you're not even spreading an ideology that is mellow and just like, you know, I don't agree. Like, if someone believes that men should be dominant objectively and women should be subjectively submissive, that's something where it's like, that's not great, but unfortunately that is a product of our culture and a lot of the harmful ideologies that are taught. If you guys don't know, I've read the whole Bible and I've annotated it, everything. You know, like a lot of it stems from these cultures that people believe to be ultimately true and like all these kind of things, right? But then there's a different level of it where I think empathy isn't as deserved because you have fully sold your soul to the point to where you expect people to act as if you had one in the first place and there's one to mourn. Like you sold your soul for the validation and approval of those in your direct environment at the cost of millions of people. And so now I think that empathy isn't the biggest feeling that people are going to feel when this kind of stuff is brought into their awareness. And I think that grief is good because it's good to kind of just grieve the lives that we've lost and stuff. I think empathy is important And like, if anything, you should empathize with his family, his wife, his kids, especially his kids. Like, kids do not ask to be brought into the world, or they don't ask to be brought into the world by a specific person. But when it comes to Charlie Kirk himself, like I said earlier, he literally said that it's worth it. Like, unfortunately, there are going to be people who die from gun violence every year, but it's worth it for our Second Amendment. You don't really say something like that, like, that's a little insensitive to people who die from gun deaths, and now you unfortunately have become a part of that statistic. You were insensitively, carelessly talking about a specific statistic where certain people die because of gun death, but it's worth it for the Second Amendment. Thank you for dying for your country and proving that, yeah, it's still worth it. Like, it's definitely worth it. Leaving your kids alone, leaving your wife alone, so people can just have guns and run everywhere rampant free, because hundreds of years ago, they created a constitution where people are allowed to have guns to overthrow the government, but now people aren't even using it to overthrow the fascist. It's not even fully fascist, but we're running in that direction. All that kind of stuff. Like, now you literally died. His last words were literally gang violence? For real? I fully believe he's one of the reasons Trump won the election, because whenever you have such a big public platform, they call it being an influencer for a reason. You influence people. I'm not a huge influencer, right? But if I get on this live and I start to get more views, the things I say will start to affect the people watching me, because we are a product of our environment, right? And if I'm constantly preaching you messages about like violence, death, prejudice, hate, you should literally have no compassion, no empathy. Guess what? People are going to take from this live certain things. It's going to connect. So neurologically, we have neurons, and our neurons connect together and they create neural pathways. And whenever you're digesting new information, you're connecting new neural pathways in your brain. And whenever you digest the same information over and over and over again, those neural pathways connect much easier and they become more familiar. So when you surround yourself with a specific idol, or whenever you surround yourself with specific content, or you have a specific idol, the way they talk, the way they act is going to start influencing your behavior. And so, unfortunately, he was an influencer. He even was platformed on places like Jubilee and shit. And I don't think those places should platform people like that, especially when they're almost given an equal voice, when you don't have an equal voice. How are you supposed to be allowed to give an equal voice to speak about unequal rights? Let me say that again. How are you allowed to have an equal voice in a conversation where you are talking about unequal rights? That should not be allowed, and that is something where you are inherently causing this imbalance, and it is putting this idea in some people's brains that, oh, I'm entitled to this power too. He was put on a platform where he was allowed to talk about how certain people should have less rights or be taken less seriously, all this kind of stuff. But he was supposed to be taken seriously. It's just really disheartening. But no, actually. You have been reported. That is totally okay. Living in Canada, watching everything. Y'all, the states are so scary now. There was a huge protest in Washington, D.C. I saw it on my feed. It's propaganda. It affects everything. Humans are so easy to manipulate because our brain, our organ, doesn't know the difference between true and false. It only knows how to make connections and find patterns. So whenever someone's fundamentally, again, let's not to be that person, but going back to like religions and the Bible, most people don't even read the Bible. They literally believe in something they've never read, and it's really frustrating. But whenever you're told something so many times, your brain doesn't have this like fact check system to where it's like, oh, let me just Google this real quick and make sure that what I'm being taught is correct. No, you're going off of what you're being told, and you're trying your best to discern whether or not what you're being told is making sense or not. And if you're not given any other rationality, information, logic, or anything, even things that aren't inherently reasonable will start to sound as if they have reason when they don't. His kid didn't deserve to lose him. I think it's important to have empathy just for his kids and his wife, 100%. But I also think that whenever it comes to a specific, I don't think he was inherently deserving of being assassinated. To start with that, like the person who said that, like, I think you have to be level of like, or to really like fully be, for me to confidently be able to say, yeah, you deserved, like, at any given moment. But I'm not grieving his death because I don't have those feelings, because I don't feel as though I don't feel as though he fought hard enough to protect the masses, and he was a victim of his own ideology. He was a victim of his own prejudice and his own, like, he was fighting to make things unsafe just for more freedom, when there's a reason certain things are restricted. Like, we could call ourselves the freest country in the world and we don't even have a law against murder because you have so many freedoms. Some freedoms should be taken away, and that's why as a collective society we come together and choose to restrict some of our free will and create a law system so that way we can have a more productive society where we can thrive, because certain behavior should not be allowed when it comes to the collective, you know? Hi, Amy. How did it come this way, though? Why are y'all so radicalized? What do you mean? Hi, Frey. This is why I recommend you to friends deconstructing religion, because you have so much more knowledge. And I'm not even, like, whenever you say that, I do appreciate that, but I'm not, like, the most knowledgeable person in the world. But I definitely think, like, I have awareness. I have more awareness than maybe the average Christian when it comes to religion. They don't even know what's in their book. Like, they don't know what's inside of here. They tell me I'm missing context when they haven't even read the story that I'm talking about. Like, how are you telling me I'm missing context when you yourself haven't even read the text? Not only are you missing context yourself, you're missing text. And so it can be really frustrating, but I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing the videos. But I think, so like with this being said, I don't think anybody is deserving of being violently harmed like that. So it's literally an example, like what I keep saying is that like he literally fought to like prove his own point. He was a victim to his own ideology, because if anything, that is a direct example of why we should have more restrictions, just more protocols, more regulations. They should be regulated more, rather. Like, they need to be regulated. There should be more background checks. It shouldn't be easier to get a gun than to get mental health or mental health services provided to you, or health services provided to you. You know, like, you can be handed a gun, but you can't be handed, like, I think it's very strange, and I think the culture is very weird, because it's like you don't care about humans, and that's very obvious in your actions, but you speak as if your intentions are to help people when that's not your impact. You can say your intentions are one thing, but your impact matters more. I think it's important to take in consideration the intentions, and it's something like people should talk about, like, again, just should be considered, but your impact also does matter. Just saw the video, lost instantly. I have not seen the video, and I don't think I'm going to like watch it. He deserved it. I don't even know if, like, morally, like, when it comes to us, we only can subjectively understand through our own experiences whether or not he deserved it. Like, for me, it's like I didn't like him as a person. I didn't stand him. I actually actively laughed at the clip of him saying, undoubtedly, I believe this dolphin fetus is a human. You're a ridiculous idiot. And he died doing what he loved. He died literally talking about violence and talking about how one of the quotes again is that he said that it is worth it to have gun deaths every year, to have the Second Amendment, because don't get me wrong, like having cars on the streets, inevitable car crashes are going to happen, but they can be limited. They can be prevented with better driving tests, making sure people are more educated before they get on the road, making sure we're limiting exposure to, I don't know, substances before people get behind the car, or even, if anything, heightening police support when it comes to reckless DUI driving, all that kind of stuff. It's such a nuanced situation, because everybody, What is deserving in a philosophical sense? Like what I'm about to talk about is that morals are subjective, values are subjective. Someone might value money over connection. Someone might value connection over money. Someone might value ideology and religion over faith and care and consideration, you know? Different people have different values and morals, and people are going to react to different situations based on their own perception and their values and their morals. And for me, where like literally since the beginning of the live, I was talking about how I do think it's important to have empathy undoubtedly for his wife and his kids and people in his personal life that maybe didn't even fully believe in his ideology, but he was still a lovable person because he's still a human. But people like me don't know him personally, so we're really only going off of what he has shown us. He's confident in himself. He has shown us what he thinks. He has shown us what he believes. And again, him saying things like empathy isn't real, it's a new age terminology, and like it's a fad or whatever, or it's worth it for gun deaths because we should have our Second Amendment, all of those kind of things. Like, if we're going off of his value system, his moral system, it's almost like we're being held as a higher standard than he is for himself. Like, he's allowed to say that people are gonna die inevitably and that it's worth it for the Second Amendment, and him saying that empathy isn't real, but then expecting us to say that his death wasn't worth it and that his death is deserving of empathy when he actively valued the opposite. You know, so I think that morals and values are very subjective, and everybody's going to perceive the situation differently depending on the awareness that they have, you know? But I'm not grieving his death by any means, but I also am not like, yes! Necessarily. I'll have that reaction when an orange man does. But for Charlie Kirk, he was just an annoying person on the internet who had very stupid ideologies. Yeah, like, I'm kind of hungry. He also dehumanized Palestinian people deaths for months, and that's just weird. I didn't like him, but I kind of feel bad for his kids and his wife, but that is a completely valid and reasonable reaction. Like, imagine losing your dad. You don't even know your dad is like this horrific man with horrific ideologies, spreading it on such a public platform to millions of people, you know? You just know your dad. Like, remember in the Spider-Man movie, I think it's No Way Home or something, it was like the one with prom, and so Peter Parker, Spider-Man, likes this girl from school, but typically in movies or shows, Phineas and Ferb is a good example. There's typically a plot A, plot B, and plot C. So there's multiple things keeping you hooked throughout a story because there's multiple storylines happening at the same time. And then towards the end of the movie, typically storylines start to combine and like add up together. So in Spider-Man No Way Home, there was plot A where Peter Parker liked this girl and maybe wanted to go to prom with her. Plot B is him fighting this supervillain, and he needs to get it done. And then there's also the plot of the supervillains themselves, right? So you're learning about different perspectives and all this kind of stuff, but mostly Peter Parker's, right? And when it comes to Peter Parker and the girl, so he finally gets this girl, he gets to go to prom with her. And so whenever Peter Parker Spider-Man gets to the door to pick up the girl from the date, turns out the supervillain he's actively tracking and trying to fight is her dad. And so at the end of the movie, like that, like obviously plays a part into things because it really just shows you that these people are doing harm. Like, they're hurting people for their own selfish reasons, but they're still a person that has like a family and people who know a different version of them because they're hiding that darkness and that evil from them. And so I think it's important to have empathy for the wife and the kids 100%. But I don't exactly feel grief because he literally ate his words. You can't say shit like it is worth it for people to die every year for the Second Amendment, that empathy isn't real and like it's just a new age term, and then expect people to have empathy for you when you die and not feel as if it's worth it when you are a statistic, when you're part of the statistic for us to be able to keep the Second Amendment. So again, I just think it's very subjective and there's a lot of nuance that goes into it. some people are gonna like feel one way extreme, other people are gonna feel another way extreme, some people are gonna be in the middle, some people are gonna like, everybody's different. I didn't agree with anything he stood for, but political violence is never the answer. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. Have we ever heard of what a revolution is and how America came to be by any chance? Just asking. It's like, whenever I hear that, I'm not saying I'm an advocate for unjust violence. I don't think violence is the first answer, and it is not the first go-to. But for example, let's say enslaved people. This is something someone brought up to me. We're like no longer calling them slaves, but rather enslaved people. So like enslaved people in the past, right? If they were actively being oppressed, if they were actively being harmed, if they were actively having their autonomy stripped from them, the only way to respond is violence. You're not getting out any other way. I think, because that's why I think morals, values, these things are very subjective. It's important to have nuance in these situations, because whenever you just say, oh, never, violence is never okay, then you're completely dismissing all the times that violence was actually able to free and help enslaved people. Because without the violence, that's like, at that point, it's not even fully violence, it's just self-defense. It's just getting yourself out of the oppression, you know? There's literally in Nepal, there was just a whole revolution for like 3 days in Nepal, literally like happening just like in our history, like in the present moment, which is now going to be history, right? Like they just overran their government with violence. But guess what? They weren't going to peacefully let them free. So there's certain ways you have to get things done when you're being oppressed, when you're being harmed. Do the slave owners perceive it as them doing harm? Oh, what if it hurts their feelings? They don't perceive they're doing harm. They don't perceive that they're oppressing someone. So of course they're going to think it's unjust for them to suddenly start being all violent to become free. We feed you sometimes. We whip you lightly sometimes. Like, why aren't you just complicit with what we're doing to you? No, violence sometimes is the only way to get out of oppressive cultures and stuff. So I'm just saying that like there's nuance. I don't think violence in this case was an answer, because it's not like this dude is a political figure in the White House. He's just a political figure online, you know, and he's definitely been in the White House, but he's not Trump, you know? So I'm not saying, oh yeah, he should have been shot. I'm just saying I'm not exactly grieving the death, you know? So I don't know. America's crazy to me. It is kind of crazy. I agree with you, and that's a hard thing to hear for most people. It's self-defense. Yeah. Carly Cook is never a part of the government. I don't feel it's the same. That I do think that's what I just said. I do think I just said that. He wasn't a part of the government. He wasn't a public figure in the government. He was just a public figure online. It would be different if it was someone like Trump. And Israel's literally committing war crimes. Yup. Literally. Why? Like, why? Well, actually, we know why they're allowed to do it. Because God plans it out. Oh, you typed that before I said it. Sorry. No, but you have a point. You're right. In the Old Testament, it literally is the same thing that's happening to Palestine, like right now. God, the God that people worship in Christianity, even though they worship Jesus, but the God is mostly in the Old Testament. It's really confusing. The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. It's hard to understand. Just be patient and have faith. What's it called? The God of the Old Testament, he literally tells people, like, go to their lands and just kill them. Go to their lands and... Let's go into the Bible, guys. Let's do some Bible studying. Bible study! Bible study! I think I have it marked as slavery in one point of the Bible. Oop, there's two things on here. Maybe it's this one right here. Oh, nope, wrong one. Sorry, guys. There's many points in the Bible where it talks about slavery and violence. So let me find the right one I'm trying to reference to right now. I think I have it annotated. Okay. So this is the Lord God, the God of the Old Testament, the God that people worship, especially in Judaism, but also the God in the Christian faith, Holy Trinity, God, Father, Holy Spirit, all that kind of stuff. So when you march up to attack a city, make its people an offer. Okay, first. They're not saying when you march up to a city to defend yourself, when you march up to a city to find favor. When you march up to attack, a city, make its people an offer of peace. Oh, actually that's kind of nice, right? Peace is good. Oh my God. If they accept and open their gates. Oh my God, they accepted the peace offering. Guys, we're at peace. All the people in it shall be subject to forced labor and shall work for you. Is this what we call peace, guys? If they refuse to make peace, aka work for you, and they engage you in battle, if they defend themselves, lay siege to that city. Whew. When the Lord your God delivers it into your hand, put to the sword all the men in it. As for the women, the children, the livestock, and everything else in the city, you may take these as plunder for yourself. So the women, the children, the livestock, take them for yourselves. LOL. Hi, Ethan. This is 1 Timothy. No, this is in Deuteronomy chapter 20 on line 10. Feel free to go read it yourself. Do not take my word for it. I encourage everyone to read the Bible. I encourage everyone to read it cover to cover. I encourage you to read every single book, every single chapter yourself. And don't go off of anything I tell you, but simply read it for yourself. As an ex-Christian girl, you've helped me so much with deconstruction. Thank you. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you being here. So yeah, that's just like a really, like, guys, this is so crazy. This is literally the next page, right? So this is still chapter 20, I believe, on line 11. No, this is chapter 21 in Deuteronomy, on line 11. So this is the Lord your God giving you regulations and telling you how you should live life and all this kind of stuff, right? So Deuteronomy, you guys should check it out. Don't take anything I say, like, take everything I say with a grain of salt. Go read it yourself. Yada yada yada. You know the whole thing. If you notice among the captives a beautiful woman and are attracted to her, you may take her as your wife. Bring her into your home and have her shave her head, trim her nails, and put aside the clothes she was wearing when captured. Let's kind of notice they didn't say when you seduced her, when you got her to catch feelings for you. She was wearing when captured. So kidnapping. Cool. After she had lived in your house and mourned her father and mother for a full month, then you may go to her and be her husband, and she shall be your wife. If you are not pleased with her, let her go wherever she wishes. You must not sell her or treat her as a slave, since you have dishonored her. Oh my God. What a great God. He's saying that we shouldn't have her as a slave, and we shouldn't... Guys, don't you see? Like, literally, this is how it should... Oh, but you're just skipping the part where we kidnapped her in the first place. We're just gonna skip over the fact where we kidnapped her in the first place. Oh, not treating her like a slave should be the bare minimum! Okay, moving forward. Highlighted. I think this is immoral and bad. Oh my God. Chapter 22, Deuteronomy, line 23. If a man happens to meet in a town a virgin pledged to be married and he sleeps with her, you shall take both of them to the gate of the town and stone them to death. The young woman, because she was in a town and did not scream for help. And the man, because he violated another man's wife. You must purge the evil from among you. The first time the word The first time in the entire book it says the Lord God loves you is on page 200. I don't want to see any more bleeding out from the neck. Oh, I'm not watching it. This book is wild. Anyways. Anywho. Have you seen the Ukrainian woman on the metro? I have not. I have not. Ugh, I'm kind of hungry. I kind of want to make food. I can make a sandwich. I feel empathy also for the people in the crowd that had to watch it happen. Like, they had no choice. They didn't click on a video. They didn't consciously choose that. Like, they were unsafe. They were put in an unsafe situation where the gun could have been turned towards them too. Like, I just feel for the people around them, the family, just not him. I'm hungry. I think I'm gonna make a sandwich. Ew. Okay. I don't know why they're posting the video, because his kids will be old enough to watch that one day. It's sad, but it is the way it is. Like, things in life, some things are not going to be considered. Do I think certain things should be considered? Yes. I'm not saying that I'm the reason it's this way, and me saying this is the reason why it should be this way. I'm just acknowledging reality for what it is. Sometimes these things aren't going to be considered. Like, if a man is a rapist, and then suddenly one day a video of him getting gets out because of like his death or something like that, it's like, of course his kids aren't going to be considered. These people hate this man, and so they're going to do anything to make his life worse, and so they're going to put these very vulnerable, evil videos out on the internet with no consideration. Some things are not going to be considered in certain situations, and no, I don't fully agree with that, but that is the way things are. Oh my God. I really don't want to go back to my depression. I can't help it. I hate being depressed. How we feeling? Feeling pretty good. Definitely, obviously, don't want to be like sober necessarily, but I'm doing pretty good. Today's not nearly as bad as yesterday, and I'm off the next 2 days. Did you hear about Mr. Kirk? Have I heard about it? Not, I don't think so. I don't think so. You know, I don't even know what I've been talking about the last like 40 minutes, you know. I have no sympathy for a man who's dehumanized innocent people for the past 3 years. And that's fine. You're allowed to lack sympathy. You're allowed to. Like, some people are allowed to feel extra sympathy because they had an emotional connection to him. Some people are allowed to feel less sympathy because of the emotional connection they had to him in a more negative way. Is it bad? I low-key feel bad. I feel bad for the people in the crowd. I feel bad for the mom. I feel bad for the kids. I think I have 2 cheeses left, so I should make 2 more sandwiches. We might make them beefy sandwiches too, since I have more meat than cheese. I'm going to get tested tomorrow at Planned Parenthood, and so that's going to be $250. Guys, I'm manifesting that one day I'll get this money back from Barn Guy. He has give me my $500 I've essentially had to pay at this point because your dick was inside of me. Bitch. No! I'm out chipotle sauce. That's so sad. So, do I want pickles, guys? Question mark. Yeah, $250. I live in America. I live in the United States of America. So, Kirk, my friend just texted in the group chat. Because imagine never becoming a good person your entire life. Yeah, that's sad. Like, that is so sad. But people are a product of their environment, and I do think there is personal accountability. There's personal accountability for becoming better than your environment, because I'm 22 years old. I did it. I moved into my car to get out of environments that I knew I wasn't supposed to be in, because it wasn't going to teach me and help me grow in the way I'm supposed to or would like to during this lifetime. Because I was willing to lose everything. Potentially. I didn't lose everything, but I lost a lot. Because I was smart enough to know. So, I do think there's personal accountability to being in your environment regardless. But some people are fundamentally trapped since the day they're born because they have not even been taught critical thinking skills. They have not even been taught how to question themselves in their environment. I have a brain where I'm very thankful that is something that I had the ability to do from a very young age. I kind of believe in free will. I think that everything in life is very nuanced and subjective. And so I think when it comes to free will, I don't actually think that it's something that's black or white, where it's either we have free will or we don't have free will. I think we, in some form, inherently have free will, which we could call autonomy. We as a species have autonomy because we have a specific consciousness. We are aware of our environment. We are aware of ourselves. We can think. We have morals and values. We have evolved past just the primitive stage that most other species on Earth are still at. So in terms of free will, we definitely have free will in terms of a consciousness and autonomy and the power and ability to move, typically. But I do think that your will can be enslaved. I think that the second you're enslaved, you lose your free will because now your will comes at a cost. If you express your own will under the reign of this authoritarian, abusive, dictator type person that's just very abusive, guess what? Expressing your own will now comes at a cost. It is not free. Living under the reign of the Lord Yahweh in the Old Testament, your will comes at a cost. You do not have free will. If you act out of accordance of his law, aka worshiping him, living for him, glorifying him above all else, you're dead. And he goes into detail about all of it in the book. So I don't think that free will is this black and white argument that people like to make it to be, because it's like, no, we do have free will, no, we don't have free will. No, like, we have free will, but that free will is not always free if someone takes it away from you. Just like water is free, but guess what? We pay for water because it is no longer free. It has been controlled by a certain system, or not fully, obviously. You can go to a pond and drink water, but you get what I'm saying. Like, if you go to a restaurant, in some places, you still have to pay for water because it's a free resource. It's inherently free given how Earth is naturally outside of our influence. But due to our influence, the freeness of it can go away and be taken. So that's my perspective on free will. Do you know? Oh, I do know Alex O'Connor. He convinced me we don't have free will. I think I'm not convinced that we don't have free will at all, because like the philosophical argument that people like to make especially is that we are a circumstance of our environment and we only have certain choices to make. Everybody has a different deck of cards. And everybody has different choices to make. But at the end of the day, you are still restricted within the choices that you make. So you can't just make any other choice other than the one that you have accessible to you. But I still think that's free will. It's just restricted will, but it's still will where you have a choice. You don't have free range will to where you have a full range of options of what is accessible to everybody on Earth. But I think that we have will. Like, we need to take the adjective out of it. Like, use protection, I know. The first time he was, okay, anyways, moving on. I think that we should just call it will. We have will. We have autonomy, but how free it is depending on the structures and the cultures that you're under. I don't know if I want to put pickles on it or not. I'm not true. I don't know what I believe that humans are inherently. Humans are not inherently evil, because then that would inherently mean that children come out evil. That they come out seething with the darkness that we see in our world. No, the darkness in our world is a product of people refusing to shed light on the darkness. So the darkness spreads because people, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to acknowledge that. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. The darkness is creeping in, babes. Hello, you're turning off the sun. Like, so, I don't know. Now, time for a sandwich. Oh wait, I was making two, just kidding. Girl, I'm happy your comment got ghosted. I'm sorry, but yeah. Thank you for liking the live, Ashley. I really do appreciate you always. The vast majority of humanity are terrified of their feelings. Yup, but that's also because they're taught to be. Because as humans, we are social creatures. We want to be accepted. And a lot of the times when we express or feel our feelings, a lot of the times that leads in our current culture to rejection. So it's a fundamental denial of a part of our human experience, because another part of our human experience that is even more important than the feelings that we feel are the acceptance that we want to feel. So it's better for us to feel acceptance for our feelings than understanding and like authenticity a lot of the times for some people. Now, nature versus nurture 80%, nature 20%, some humans. I definitely agree. In terms of like, depending on what your definition of evil is, to me, the definition of evil is darkness beyond comprehension. Like, evil would be immoral past nuance. Like, German painter guy from the 1940s in Germany, caused a lot of harm and spread a really harmful ideology, right? I would consider that evil. Your actions are beyond immoral. Your actions are beyond harmful. Your actions are beyond unproductive. So I would classify that as evil. Evil isn't some spiritual thing to me where it's like, oh my God, evil, like you're spiritually being attacked, like you're evil. Like, no, there's no substance behind that belief. You can't explain that belief other than just using the words you've been given by the person who taught you what you know. So, you can't explain your own belief system in your own words. You know what I mean? So, with a professional about free will, I'm kind of curious. How did that go? I think capitalism can be evil, certain aspects of it. I think that, if anything, humans would benefit the most from a mixed economy where parts of capitalism are utilized, but not just all of capitalism. I think there's pros and cons. I think the more we think in that black and white way, where we think something is all good or all bad, it leads us to go more down the path of things being bad, because a more productive way of seeing life is by seeing the nuance and perspective that is objectively in life. Like, that is something I would say is objective. Like, there is more than just the black and white way that we tend to perceive things as humans, you know? So, we're gonna use mustard. I hope it tastes good. I haven't actually had like a mustard predominant sandwich in a while. Whew. Oh, whoop. Okay. I'm off tomorrow, and I'm getting tested for STDs, and I have to spend 2/3 of my bank account. 2/3. I hate the United States of America. It literally said on the website. So my friend, my coworker, I almost said her name. I'm trying to say people's names less. My coworker said that at Planned Parenthood, it's free to get STD testings and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, bet. So I canceled my Minute Clinic appointment that I had for tomorrow morning, which I was already planning to spend $200 at. Maybe more, who knows? Because they don't give you a fucking exact estimate. They can literally charge you however the fuck they want. Anyways. She told me it was free. And so then I go on the website and it said that the Trump administration has defunded certain things. So make sure to call about prices and all that kind of stuff. We're trying our best to give the help that we need. We're not going anywhere, So now I have to spend $250. And the reason I did it at Planned Parenthood and not Minute Clinic is because I feel like at Planned Parenthood, all the price, it says something and treatment. So I feel like I won't have to pay, or hopefully I won't have to pay a separate price for the full treatment and everything. Hopefully they'll be testing me for multiple things. At Minute Clinic, I think I'm going to have to choose what do you want to get tested for, because it'll be more expensive for certain things. So I would rather go to a professional place that knows how to do this stuff, that is there to help me, and really get the help that I need, and like get tested thoroughly with a base fee essentially. But we need socialism, balance out capitalism, otherwise we end up, it is literally described as the Christian like lifestyle, which is so annoying to me. In Acts chapter 4, I think on like line 34 or something like that, in the Bible, it literally describes a society where possessions and money and all that kind of stuff are given out based on need. People do not consider things their own. They don't have their own belongings. Everything belongs to everyone. Why are y'all acting like that's a stupid, evil society that we need to avoid, when it's literally in the Bible as the Christian lifestyle? Influences are causes, 100%. I also can't understand or even comprehend how people can justify what, they're taught to. And like, I'm saying I can't. It is not good, not okay. It caused so much turmoil in my life, me speaking up about these things. So like, I'm not saying this as someone on the internet that hasn't actually taken any action based on what's happening or whatever. No, I got kicked out, bro. Like, it's just, it's so bad, but people can justify these things because that's what they're taught to do. They live life in accordance to obedience, not intention or understanding or wisdom. They're literally taught that wisdom is obedience, as if obedience isn't doing something because you're told so, and wisdom is doing something because you understand so, or knowing something, or understanding something. Literally, the reason you're supposed to obey God is because we're humans and we lack understanding and we can't comprehend anything, right? We're just like so stupid and evil. We're so stupid and evil. So we have to obey God, right? But then you're telling me it's wisdom when the definition of wisdom is a deeper understanding. So you can understand that you're supposed to obey God, but you can't understand why God would do certain things. Which I'm not even saying sometimes we won't understand why leadership makes certain decisions. Okay, there's also nuance within that. But be so fucking for real for some things. Like, there are things we can't understand and we can have our own understandings about. And then you choosing the more harmful, ignorant understanding of something because it's what your God said from 3,000 years ago. I literally cried the other day. I made a video about it. I was literally watching videos and like, it's just really bad. Really, really bad. Anyways, I'm making a sandwich. I keep getting distracted. I feel like there's something else I should add. I mean, I could add tomatoes, but I don't think I really want to. And I could add pickles, but I don't think I want to. Who isn't real, by the way? What do you mean by that? It generally makes me cry thinking about how scared and confused there's... Because, like, why wouldn't it? Like, these children are literally being harmed in such a significant way. And people are, like, so quick to justify it and bypass it because they are so... in a non-shameful, a non-super judgmental way, because I do think there's some judgment to this that is deserved, but not in a super critical, shameful, judgmental way. You are so weak, you can't even have the strength to feel empathy for people that are dying, and you resolve your own feelings by just bypassing it as something that's justified, or, oh no, just dehumanize them, right? They must be evil. Right? I don't know them. I don't know really what they're doing. I'm just going off of what I'm told, but yeah, they must be evil. So, like, why wouldn't they be deserving of this? There's so much injustice happening all across the world. People are starting to stand up because we have more awareness than we've ever had before. We have technological devices. We're able to see what's happening in a way we never have before. We need to stop most oppressive regimes. It's just disheartening. Incredibly disheartening. Should I put 2 slices of roast beef on the sandwich? The vehicle Israel is driving in is painted in red, white, and blue, my fam. Like, we pay for everything they have. Free schooling and free healthcare that they have over there. We paid for that. While we actively teach the American people it's not possible to have free healthcare. It's crazy. Hi, Nick. What are you up to? What you doing? Ew, I don't like the texture of the ham right now. Nothing. Here. I don't know if this is good. You're allowed to kidnap women, but don't treat them like a slave. Bruh. It is coming down. It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring. Should I add pickles? Ethan, no. Yes, I'm making sandwiches. I hate that man. Will both of them fit on the pan by any chance? If I were to just do like this, perchance? I mean, highly recommend. I like bird watching. I enjoy the art of watching the species and perceiving them outside of their will. LOL. I have a wedgie. Okay. You get the limo out front. Whoa, hard styles, every show, every color. When you're famous, it can be kind of fun. Watching flying. What? It's really you, but no one ever discovers. Okay. Am I gonna cook them both at the same time? Question mark. I feel like I could, and I might as well, low-key, but I feel like there's something else I need to be adding to my sandwich. I mean, I could add chips, but I don't know if I really fully want to. From the evolutionary perspective, yeah, we are the rats. Like, from a bird's eye view. Do not bad name the burbs. The burbs! Okay. I'm so hungry. I can't wait to eat. I'm so hungry I could eat a Chef Struggles. I'm hungry. It's raining, it's pouring. The old man is snoring. Damn, I really have to spend $250 fucking tomorrow. I'm gonna be so pissed if I don't have anything. Like, yeah, you can argue that, like, oh, it's nice, at least nothing's attacking your body. But I just spent $250 to figure that out. That's 2/3 of my bank account. I have to go to Planned Parenthood. I'm so pissed. Is in the nicest way possible. Is that person I'd expect to be in a... Oh, I'm dead as fuck. He has been. Like, he's literally been in a... There's proof they have cameras in eyes, please. You guys are so silly. Not even saying you're fully wrong, I don't know, but... Be for real. Hi, Kenna. Damn, I'm really not gonna be able to have sex for a while. That really sucks. Not that I have someone to have sex with, but like, if I find someone and, actually no, if I find someone, that's great. But I don't have anybody to like right now. That's so sad. They better be worth it, y'all. They better be worth it. But at the end of the day, it's better to find out. I just hate living in America, especially right now. My friend said that it was free at Planned Parenthood, and I'm guessing it used to be free, but then after they got defunded, it's just not the case anymore. It's just so sad. People are so adamant on making life harder for others. Because they're told to think that way. They're told it's good. You're not giving STI vibes, girl, praying for you. The thing is that some STIs are asymptomatic, symptomatic, and I'm experiencing some symptoms, but not a lot. So I'm thinking it's probably best for me to get checked because something's definitely going on down there. I just don't know what it is. Not gullible because I got recruited into a group that looked normal to try affect positive change. That is in the perfect way to describe an innocent person who's gullible being convinced to join a cult. Cults don't say, hey, we're here to manipulate you and take your power and give it to our leader, and that's our sole intention and purpose. No, they tell you, no, we're here to love others. We're here to help others. We're here to spread compassion and kindness. Anybody wants to do that, most times. So of course it's the easiest way. Oh, no way. No way. Did I burn my sandwich? Okay, it's not too bad. Okay, it's not too bad. We're good. It's not too bad. Crispy. If someone approaches me saying to make positive change, I'd be like, no thanks, I don't like people. I don't actually want to make positive change. Steph, they would have tricked you? No, they wouldn't have. Like, full on, no, they wouldn't have. Like, I mean, I've definitely been tricked, so I'm not saying, like, I'm completely immune to being fooled in general, but I think I can spot the signs of a You know what I mean? Like, I am always very hyper vigilant, which this is like me saying with 90% confidence, because there's obviously that like 10% chance where I'm like, yeah, I'm sure circumstances where I could get fooled. You know, I could be fooled to join a community, if you will. Girl, you would be amazing with an eyebrow piercing. I've pierced my eyebrows like 13 times. I have my scar and everything, but I have to take it out for work. Sandwiches are complete. Because they migrate. Oh yeah, I hate the idea of a piercing migrating. I don't think I had one that ever really migrated too much or tried to reject or anything. Well, I definitely have had some that rejected and I had to restart, but migrating to where like it literally came out because it healed out of my skin, I haven't experienced that. Maybe one day. I do hope to have an eyebrow piercing at one point or another again. Okay. Damn. I am tired. I feel like most religions are culty. I'm curious. Let's ask Bestie. We haven't done this in a while. I don't utilize Bestie like I used to, and I don't pay for her anymore. Because I think it's best to be used in moderation now. But what's the difference? What are the differences between cults? The first thing, okay, you know what? I'll just read it. Good question. This is one of those areas where the line isn't as clear as people sometimes assume. Cult and religion describe groups that often look similar on the surface, but the terms carry very different connotations, which is true. Here are the main differences as scholars, sociologists, and theologians often distinguish them. Societal perception. Social perception. Religion, seen as socially legitimate, recognized, and established. Cult, often viewed as deviant, fringe, or illegitimate by mainstream society. Size and stability. Religion, large, enduring, multi-generational institutions with codified traditions, texts, and practices. Cult, typically small, newer groups often organized around a single charismatic leader or specific interpretation. Leadership. Religion. Leadership tends to be institutionalized. Priests, rabbis, amens, monks, councils. Authority is shared and can be passed down through structures. Cult. Leadership is usually highly centralized, charismatic, and absolute. The leader often claims special access to truth or divinity. Relationship to society. Religion often integrates into broader society, coexisting with political and cultural institutions. Cult frequently isolates members from outside influence, demanding exclusivity of loyalty. Demands on followers. Religion usually allows varying levels of commitment, from casual participants to highly devout. Cult often requires extreme devotion, strict obedience, and major life changes, cutting off family, financial control, relocation. Access to knowledge. Religion. Scriptures and teachings are usually publicly available and widely studied. Cult. Knowledge is very secretive, restricted, or revealed gradually only to insiders. 7. Attitude towards dissent. Religion. In mainstream religions, dissent is usually tolerated to some extent, though historically not always. Cult. Dissent is often met with punishment, ostracism, or threats. Origins. Religion. Many started as cults in their earlier phases. Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, and others were once viewed as radical fringe movements. Over time, they grew, stabilized, and normalized. That's something not a lot of people know, is that historically Christianity was known as a cult. It was literally started as a cult. LOL. Cult often represents either a new breakaway movement or a radically novel spiritual system. It's a little underwhelming. Like, it feels like there should be a little more flavor or like something more. I don't know. We knew the truth on the world. Religion killed me mentally. It messed me up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you were a victim of the societal norms. There's nothing I could dip it in, I don't think. I'm trying to think like a sauce or something I have. I could try Tabasco. I've been low-key getting into Tabasco. Like, I've always been a Texas Pete gal because of my dad, right? We are a product of what we've been aware of and surrounded by. We've always been a Texas Pete family. But at work, I tried Tabasco and it was actually pretty good. Let's see. About to be out. Yeah. It's so freeing because you just didn't want to, you just wanted to be a sinner. Like, you wanted to be free to be sinner. Like, you wanted to sin. Don't people in religion sin as well? Yeah, but like at least we're in the religion and we're believing in God and we're sinning because we'll be forgiven because we've accepted Jesus Christ in our heart. So we're both sinners, just one of us has a different belief system. Yeah, and that's important. So me burning in hell is going to be determined on my belief and not really my actions. Whatever. Maybe I should have added the pickles. Mayonnaise! Mm-mm. And tomato. Honestly, I should have just made an everything sandwich. But I think hell's still unjustifiable. It is. How are you an all-knowing God and you create such an ignorant species and you make knowledge the determiner on whether you suffer for eternity whenever you give them a finite time? What? That's exciting, Michael. An infinite life is based on a finite experience where You have to acquire the correct and right knowledge based on the environment that you're living in and that you're born in. It's like a teacher giving you a test that's impossible to pass and then telling you you'll never pass school or you're just going to suffer for failing it. Ethan's been trapped in his own ego for the past 20 minutes. Ethan, I made that comment like 10-20 minutes ago. And you are. And so am I. It's okay. We're just silly. And I'm offended? Good. Did you think this was a safe space? You were misled. Maybe you were misled because you were gullible. Wow, no loyalty around here. You go have fun, Ethan. You will be missed, though. Also, the eternal suffering thing is so uncalled for. Why couldn't God just disappear bad people? No, he needed humans to do everything. Like, LOL. It's like funny until you realize like this is actually what people believe, and like this isn't just like we're talking about a movie or a show and we're psychoanalyzing it. No. Because we, the redacted group, must act in good ideology for the group. Well, of course. Be obedient. Oh, I just want to be... Oh, this is such a random thought. Never mind. This is a good sandwich. Like, it's a little underwhelming. It's not the best sandwich I've ever had or made, but it was my first time only getting ham, roast beef, and the cheese. So we're just experimenting. We're branching out of what we typically get. Because, like, typically as kids, we always got salami, sweet ham, salami, sweet ham, Swiss cheese, or American cheese and stuff. So I'm trying different things. It's so pretty outside. Barbecue chicken? Okay. Still have never made chicken before. The spice got to me a little bit on that bite. Actually, I have a solution. feel like I'm a little full now. It's like I need a burp, but it's not coming out. Hello? Bruh. Okay. Whatever. You were manipulated. You were. And I'm so sorry that they did that. Should I put this in the microwave and finish it later? I'm gonna listen to my body. Oops, sorry, I don't want to flash. We'll leave this little left, what's left, this little bit that's left. Holy cow. The leader was charming. You know, a synonym for the word charming is charismatic. Oh. I'm full. I think I have a few more days until my body is regulated. And then I'm about to get my period, so that's also gonna suck. It's still raining. Now it's a sun shower. I thought I was done. I'm gonna actually put you guys laying flat because I'm a little scared that it's gonna fall down and you guys are gonna see everything. Did you guys see my coochie and my butt? Say yes if you did. In a room full of people, I look for you. Do you look for me? Okay. I'm thinking of just wearing my pajamas. Because I don't want to wear anything else. Okay. In a room full of people, I look for you. Do you look for me? Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Okay, sorry guys. We have successfully done a costume change. I've changed what my avatar is wearing. I'm gonna put my slippers on because my feet are cold. I haven't been wearing them regularly. Oh, I can't wait though. It's about to be winter, so I'll be wearing them a lot more regularly. I need to go through my wardrobe. We need karaoke sessions one time to heal. Hi, it's been a while since I've seen you live. I've been in and out of hospitals and RTC. Well, I hope that you're doing better and I hope they've been able to help. Here's about to be spring. Damn, we're about to go into fall. You know, thank you for liking the live, Nova. Damn, I didn't know I looked like that. I took a shower before the live and now I feel accomplished. So I don't have to wash my hair for 2 days or maybe a day. Sometimes I actually wash it more. I told my Nana and my Aunt Cisa the last time they were here, I was like, guys, like I'm doing so much better, da-da-da-da. I shower more than once a week. They both I wish I got it on video, bro. They both instantaneously start screaming, hollering, and clapping out of excitement and like almost like encouragement or proudness. I don't know. Like they were like, yeah, that's great. I know. I do want to see the final nails. Put them in the Discord. So I'm just tired now. I'm like starting to get to a point where I'm like, I'm losing energy. I love how I've had this topic thing on here, but like we haven't talked about BPD or CPTSD the entire life. So I think I'll just go ahead and get rid of it. In a room full of people, I look for you. 13 hours is crazy. Oh, that's good. At least the flu is gone. I sent them. I don't feel like getting up right now, but I will be looking at them once I get up or later. I'm tired. Guys, I was not expecting to make $200 at work today. That was a huge blessing. A huge blessing. So now I have, come on. Whatever. What's it called? It was a huge blessing. So now I have $600 saved for my rent by the end of the month. So I know I'll make rent regardless. I have $600 in my savings, and then I have like 380 or 370 or something in my checkings right now, which is all going to Planned Parenthood. So I put all of the money I got back from the PC refund into my savings. So now I have a savings. I've never done a sleep study. I need a nap. I feel like my body is asking me to rest, but I'm not sure. Damn, I could read. That's so annoying. It's like I want to read more often, but then it's like when I'm put in a position where I have the time to actually read, I'm like, I don't want to. Like, but it's also because I think, well, this is the excuse I'm using. It's honestly probably an excuse. I'm not sure. But my head, I'm like, well, I definitely feel brain fog. I don't exactly feel, I feel like I need stimulation right now desperately, and I'm having to condition my brain to be okay without it. And I'm trying to scroll less, just like mindlessly scroll for hours less. Oh my god. And instead read, so I can actually not lose all my brain cells. But it's so often now that I actually physically feel my brain. It's weird. Like, I'm just so aware of it all the time, and it's so annoying. Like, I'm not aware of certain organs because it's like they're not actually causing any pain. It's just how it is. But now it's like I physically feel my brain, and it's like I'm done. 12 hours every day. How I used to be. At least I was active on TikTok at that time. Oh, I'm aware. LOL. Oh, Vienna? In a room full of people, I look for you. My friends for life don't talk to me anymore. Sometimes we think people are going to be in our lives forever, and that's not the case. We think that because in the moment it feels good and it's aligned, but sometimes people are meant to be in your life for a specific era, and they're not compatible in others. That song played in the background before the bathtub scene. In what? It's easy to make like a lifelong commitment when you're in like the beginning of your life and you only like have experienced 2 decades of life, where you might still have a lot of connections from your childhood and stuff. But yeah, I don't think things are always meant to last forever. Some things, it's really nice. Like, I definitely try to like make commitments to the point where you anticipate and you work towards things being long lasting, but like 2 out of 3 of my childhood best friends and I like aren't friends anymore. I ended our friendships. And with one of my best friends, I definitely feel like I could have tried to open up a conversation rather than send a message ending the friendship, but there really wasn't, anytime I tried to communicate, there really wasn't much reciprocation, or even just, I don't know. But one of the friends, I definitely think it was the right decision, but it's just so foggy because you never really know other people's perspectives and what they're thinking and stuff. You can only really go off of your assumptions when there's such a lack of communication. In a room full of people, I looked for you. You guys hear the bottom of my slippers? I need to finish this book, y'all. I started this book months ago, and I'm only a little more than halfway through. I would probably You're Wrong About Everything, but So Am I. It's actually like not a bad book. Like, it's a pretty decent book. I just haven't been able to sit down and continue reading something for a prolonged period of time. It's even big text, y'all. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. A book. It's not a bad book. It's just I have to dedicate time to reading. There's so many new habits I'm still trying to forge and curate. But it's so much easier to scroll. It's so much easier to ruminate. It's so much easier to be stimulated with dopamine from some sort of hobby or task. But I'm trying to slow my brain down. I'm trying to read. I'm trying to be more mindful. I'm trying to just like listen to music, go on walks, work out, go to the gym. The last 2 days, I've decided not to go to the gym. Like, this morning, I woke up so easily. Like, there really is no excuse for like me not going to the gym other than I just chose not to. I don't think of it as like fixing your life books. Maybe the author has that intention, I'm not sure. But I think of it as this person is giving you knowledge and you can fix your own life using the knowledge. But I don't know. In a room full of people, I look for you. Yeah, they ghost everything. No, they're saying when you said that, it got ghosted. What should I do next? I can't go on my walk. And I'd rather listen to music than read because it's more stimulation, I guess. Oh, that's a known cold for sure. Is it still raining? Hold on. Not fully, actually. Well, a little, it seems, maybe. Well, is that just the wind? In a room full of people I love for you. Alright. I do think I'm gonna go ahead and go on a walk and kind of just relax, listen to music, and maybe if I can discipline myself to read a fucking book after. I would love to see the news about that. I have not. I love you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great day. If you guys don't know, I'm going live every single day at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So an hour and 45 minutes ago, every single day is whenever I go live, and the time is always in my bio if you'd like to be reminded. Sorry. We all like to be remembered. But make sure to drink some water, eat some food, be kind to yourself today, and just try to take care of yourself to the best of your ability. This was a pretty good live. I think we had a good discussion all the way around, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Well, actually, tomorrow, for those who are regulars, tomorrow I won't be going live at 5. I'll be going live probably a lot earlier because I have the Planned Parenthood appointment, and then I'm hanging out with my big sister and my niece. So I won't be live at my regular time, but I will be live tomorrow, hopefully more in the morning, just so that way I don't have to miss it fully. But I love you guys so much. I will talk to you guys later.